guys, watching Go.2 as always. Yeah, so now we're on to Series 9. We're going to be doing Series 10 next week, and then the week after we're going to be talking about Peter Capaldi's regeneration story, and we're going to be talking about Peter Capaldi's era, as we've done with every Doctor throughout this marathon we've done. We've done marathon from Series 1 to 9 so far, and yeah, let's say, if you haven't, this is the first video you've watched from my videos, I would say watch from Series 4 onwards, because my editing skills were very bad after Series, just before Series 4 all my videos were quite naff with editing, but now as Series 4 to this video, this is how good the editing is going to get. Just giving you a heads up on that. But yeah, if you want to check out my videos, go check them out. And obviously I'm not going to talk about Series 11 because we've talked enough about that before I did the marathon. If you do want to check them out and you're not bothered about the editing skills and all that, go and check my opinions out and scroll down below on the playlist. Yeah, I will do an update on my opinions on Series 11 at some point, because things change. You know, my opinions have completely changed from the hype from Series 11. Well, the kind of hype that we had. I mean, yeah. Yeah, so as if this is your first video from the channel, we're going to talk about 6 episodes, then we're going to cut the video here, then in a couple of days time we'll do another video, Series 9 Part 2, and we'll talk about the episodes from that era, that part, and then we end the video there and go into Series 10. That's how this videos sort of work. Anyway, I'm rambling, so let's just get into reviewing, ranking, and talk about the episodes from Series 9. So, Magician's Apprentice and Witch's Familiar. Yeah, so obviously we have the Doctor gone from the rebel Time Lords from the anger of Series 8, and Clara's addiction starting to happen in little places like Mummy and Orient Express and Flatline. Them addictions, certainly you can tell. She can't give up, and she's starting to turn into the Doctor, especially in Flatline. I think that's where she starts turning into the Doctor, so we get to see that more in this series. And we have the complete rebel Time Lord turn into the rocker Time Lord. Even Peter Capaldi didn't like this scene with him playing electric guitar on the tank. But yeah, we have that moment, and yeah, the Doctor's gone rogue and hiding and stuff because he saw Davros as a child and he didn't help him, which is very un-Doctor-like, I guess. And yeah, I guess this is quite an interesting thing to see, Peter Capaldi's guilt and how he can portray it. Yeah, we also meet these, I want to say Vikings, I'm not sure. He has a party anyway. Peter Capaldi, the 12th Doctor, has a party, and Clara and Missy's got to try and find him. Before we get into that, Missy obviously is controlling these planes and making planes stop, and yeah, they're making them use all the fuel, so if the planes stop with fuel, they crash, they kill people. So their weapons, they're things that need to be hurrying up and stopped, because there's all panic across the world with all these planes stopping in mid-air, and yeah, a Time Lord trickery. And then we also have to get Unit's attention to try and find the Doctor, because no one can find him. He's gone too quiet. He's never been this quiet. And then we also have Clara working at Carlisle School, that little reference from Series the 50th and Series 8, I think, onwards. Yeah, it is Series 8 onwards. So yeah, we have that. That's quite nice. A little tie-in consistency. Obviously, I think Clara's a bit more of a cardboard cutout like Series 7. Series 7, she was a mystery and cardboard cutout and less character development. And then in Series 8, she had so much more character development and she felt real. She has a lot more character development in Series 9 with the addiction, but she doesn't feel that real, you know, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I think I prefer, if anything, from Clara's era is Series 8. I think that's where she's strongest. In Series 9, at the end, is her perfect death, and then it gets messed up, obviously, later on, which we'll talk about in the next video. But yeah, let's just carry on with this story. So yeah, we've got Missy controlling planes, Unit calling Clara in, and we don't have Osgood. We have Osgood later on, and we also have Kate Stewart and this other person that's reappeared a few times. I want to say coloured person. I don't want to offend anyone if that's a bad thing to say or what, but I'm going to say that to describe, I'm not sure, she's been in a lot of Doctor Who episodes before, this unit person, and she's coloured and she's a scientist. She's been working and she's plays a bit more of a key part in Zygon Inversion, Zygon Invasion, and yeah, that's her demise in that episode, I think, as well. Yeah, it was nice to see her back, more regular, familiar faces. Then we also have, yeah, Clara working with Unit, which is interesting, which is again what spin-offs do with the Big Finish. Unit and Jo Grant, yeah. Jo Grant, she worked with Unit in a few episodes, and that was quite nice to see Clara working that way when the Doctor's not there. And maybe Clara does little threats while the Doctor's off doing big threats. And yeah, the Doctor's on the run, and we have this snake person trying to find the Doctor, and yeah, it just reminds you of Harry Potter a bit, doesn't it? I mean, the Dark Lord, you have disobeyed the Dark Lord, and then it's the Dark Lord's Davros, who should not be named, is Davros, and then the snake going around Dark Lord. It's very Harry Pottery. I do like the snake moments because we get to see all these really familiar faces from all these different monsters we've seen from the Ood in a pub and Zygons and all sorts like that, just drinking and yeah. And you've got these people from the Half from Series 4, all these little references, all these old costumes they brought back, which is so nice. It makes the world a bit more tighter and real and rememberable. And then we've also got the Shadoon. Oh, we love a Shadoon. And they're back for Series 12. Yes. What else? Yeah, so we get to the Sister of the Khan, which actually appears in the series, which obviously appeared in the 8th Doctor's era. And also, fun fact, her second name's Higgins and my second name's Higgins, so we could be related. Maybe not, but you know. Yeah. Now we're going to get onto the serious stuff, such as Davros. So, snake tricks missing Clara get to the Doctor. Missy's got these planes as hostage to bring the units to attention and brings all these soldiers along. Missy's acting wild, starts killing soldiers left, right and centre, blasting them. Oh, I think he had a kid. Oh no, I've not turned good in that moment. And Clara and Missy have a nice talk about the confession dial. And yeah, then we have Missy and Clara working out where the Doctor could be, strategies, and Unit trying to help along the way. And then Missy just forgets about Unit, and Unit's gone from the episode, and we start talking about Missy and Clara teleporting with a vortex manipulator to cheap and nasty time travel. Lovely reference for Captain Jack there as well. We land where the Doctor is, and the Doctor's having a party and doing dad jokes such as I bought this tank online, fish jokes, and yeah, it's not the best because he's riding on a tank, and Pete Paddy didn't even like that scene. And then, yeah, we've got Clara and Peter meeting up, which is nice. The hug from Series 8 where they couldn't hug, the character development's changing there. He's changed so much. You could have a multi-Doctor story with Series 8, Pete Paddy, Series 9 and Series 10 Peak Paddy, and they'll all be different. That would be an interesting episode. What else? Yes, obviously the snake comes and then it brings them along, and the guy that was what was the Doctor's friend from the Viking era, I want to say. I'm not very sure on what era they were in. He's actually a Dalek. A Dalek Ice Stalk comes out and they get the TARDIS, and yeah. So they're now travelling to Davros, and obviously the Doctor left Davros for dead as a kid, and Davros remembers. Davros is got a grudge against that, I guess, and yeah, and then so he should. But then time changes at the end of the episode where he saves Davros. So, did any of this really happen? Kind of, yeah. It's Doctor Who, you know. You just go with it. Yeah. So Davros has now got this. He's dying. He's in this container thing, and yeah. Then the Doctor gets tricked to use his regeneration. That was a nice scene, and yeah, Davros and the 12th Doctor was so nice to see. Then obviously Clara and Missy have their own little adventures, and then Missy and Clara get exterminated. Cliffhanger, TARDIS blows up, brackets there blowing up, and then we go on to the next part of the episode, which is Peter Capaldi grieving and angry, and gets Davros off the chair, and Peter Capaldi's in the chair and doing what he wants and threatening the Daleks, while Clara and Missy have their nice little adventures with a stick, and then Clara just falls down the well while Missy pushes her down the well, and then we are into the Dalek sewers, and Dalek sewers are for graveyard, so all these Daleks are alive in the sewers, and and then they need to get inside a Dalek, which is a reference obviously from Series 7. They didn't play much on that, but I am Clara Oswald, I am a Dalek, that little reference was quite nice. And we've seen all these little classic Daleks as well, that was interesting. Then we get a Dalek. Oh yeah, we also learn about Missy. She had a child and I think, or a granddaughter or something like that, which was interesting to hear. A bit more backstory, unless it's Missy lying. And then we also have a reference of the Doctor as a woman, a Doctor as stole from the moon, and some other things, the wife of someone. Obviously one of those was a lie, and it's obviously the Doctor was a woman, so the Doctor stole someone's wife and stole the moon or something like that, along with his adventures at some point. What else? There's not much to this story. It's just the Daleks. They don't do anything after they killed Missy and Clara. Hence, they didn't kill them in the end anyway. And then Missy tricks the Daleks and gets Clara in this Dalek tank, and she's going to give Clara to the Daleks for Davros and stuff like that. And then the Doctor uses regeneration. Davros tricks and grabs hold of him, and the Doctor's regeneration is just making all the Daleks stronger. Even the graveyard ones, which the graveyard ones come up and destroy Skaro. And they learn they're on Skaro at some point as well. Forgot to mention that. So yeah, that was basically... I've talked so much on this episode, so I've got to kind of rush it a little bit. And then the TARDIS gets brought back, because why not? Sonic wearable technology. Oh yes, the Doctor doesn't use Sonics anymore, so Matt Smith's Sonic's gone, and we've got Davros. 12 saves Davros. Davros gets his eye scratched by Missy, which he was always going to plan. So Master's met Missy now. Quite nice. Then we have this trickery of Missy trying to kill Clara with the 12th Doctor doing it. That was an interesting bananas thing to see. And then we've also got Missy running off because the Doctor's furious and angry. And then I really have a very good idea, Missy. And then we never see that idea ever again with the Daleks. So yeah, must have not gone well, because in the next episode we see her in Series 10, she's getting executed, so it must have not been that good. And then we have Clara getting out of Dalek, and she's traumatised, and then we get out Skaro, and Skaro's blown up. Obviously Davros escapes at some point, and he's more back to life than ever with the regeneration energy. Blah blah blah. Then we've gone to the end of the episode where Peter Capaldi's saving Davros. 8 out of 10 for the first episode, 8 out of 10 for the second, and 8 out of 10 overall. I really enjoyed this two-parter. I think it's a solid story. It's more of a Davros story than a Dalek story, and the nice interactions from Unit, Missy and Clara, and 12's new persona is a bit weird and different, but we'll go with it, and Peter Capaldi's obviously still my favourite Doctor, so yeah. Now we're on to Under the Lake and Before the Flood, and Clara wants an adventure. She wants excitement. She's been through all these places, but now she wants to save a planet. Come on, Doctor, you know you're itching to save a planet, and now we're off. That was quite a nice, interesting thing with Clara's addiction starting to play in very prominent now. And Clara at 12 slows her down at one point in this episode. He goes, "There's only one of me. We have a whole dimension in here, but there's only one room for me. Can't you just get a boyfriend or something? Do human stuff?" And so he needs to try and calm her down a little. And she's getting too big for her boots and running around the place. Yeah. And now we're under this underwater siege place thing they're investigating or something. I've really forgot what the base is actually there for originally. But obviously the crew members, they get killed off one by these ghosts, kind of ghosts, even though ghosts don't exist in the 12th Doctor's mind or any Doctor's mind in Doctor Who really, but ghosts are this is the most realistic thing we're going to get to ghosts. So yeah, these ghosts, and then once you see this pattern on this wall, this message, it gets jammed in your mind, and then the ghosts start killing you to use you as a beacon. So basically the ghosts want to use you, kill you, use you as a ghost to signal out to the Fisher King's kind and basically bring more Fisher King and stuff like that. Also to note, Fisher King, the person who played him, was actually like 7 foot or something like that, and sadly he had passed away after Series 9, so that was quite sad to hear. But yeah, I think the Fisher King's design was incredible, and how tall he was very alien-like and very different to the usual 6 foot standing villain, you know. It was quite interesting, different, and the Fisher King's look was incredible. We'll get onto him in a minute. Yeah, these ghosts are killing people. We also, so we get these people killing them, and then we also have the main cast. We have this sort of Osgood character, which is quite nice, and then this other guy that actually loves this Osgood character. I don't know her name. I know. I think it's in the tip of my head. Like I get. I do know her name and I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to say it. Yeah, let's get past that. So this Osgood character, she's really interesting and lovely, and when she gets to travel in the tides, it's so nice. And then when she dies, it's quite sad to see. And obviously her kind of boyfriend figure, like she falls in, they finally say they love each other, and he's furious with 12 and wants to try and save her, and then he can't. And you have these list of the dead, these names, which Peter Capaldi, the 12th Doctor, actually set out. They're not names or anything that matter. They're things to try and make sure that he's going to save everyone else. You know, this is a message from the past to tell him, right, this person dies, that's it. The rest are scrambles of who's going to die, but we need to make the Doctor die so he can make a fake ghost to make all this play out, really. That was interesting to see. So we're running around trying to capture these ghosts, capture them, and they've killed some people as well. And there's different ways they've killed people, it's quite nice. And then, who's in charge? I need to know who to ignore. That was quite interesting, I like that line. Pete Capaldi's great in this episode, I absolutely love him. And Clara's doing well as well, you know, she's doing a bit, and then crew members are quite interesting and nice, actually. I really enjoyed this episode more than I thought I would. Like, I didn't enjoy it that much at the beginning, but I do now. What else? Oh yeah, the person that can't hear, the deaf person, that's nice, different character. Obviously they do that again in Series 11, I think. This girl was deaf in that episode, so a bit more, just a deaf person to actually represent was quite nice, and she did a brilliant job in her acting. And then the ghost, when it was trying to kill her, and she could feel the gravity, like the shakes and stuff, so she knew it was near to look around. Then we go on to the cliffhanger, I can say, like they get split up. 12's going to save Clara, and then we get the Osgood, I'm going to call her, of this episode, and her boyfriend, I'm going to say. Don't know the names, so they go off with 12, and Clara gets stuck with the others. And obviously the Doctor's going to go back. The TARDIS is not allowed to go near water or whatever as usual, but they get into the TARDIS and go off to the past, where it all started with the Fisher King and the underground thing, and we have this escape pod thing activating and waking up from these deadlocks, which obviously we later learn is the 12th Doctor. And yeah, so the Osgood character dies, the person trying to say her boyfriend is trying to bring her back. Then we also get this other one, the very first ghost, which is from Series 6. I don't know the name of the alien, but I'll probably put a picture up on the screen anyway. He's very scared character as usual. played by David Williams in Series 6, but I don't know who played him in this episode. It was a different person. And yeah, that was interesting to see. Obviously, he's an idiot. He's a scared idiot who just wants to be conquered by people. He gets killed off, and then the Fisher King was dead, and then it's woken up, and then 12 versus the Fisher King moment, and then the Fisher King's about to run off, and then the flood comes and destroys the Fisher King. The Fisher King's dead. Gets into the escape pod, and yeah, then we fly off, really. I suppose 12 went back for Osgood's, I'm going to say Osgood's, it's not Osgood, her boyfriend, in the TARDIS to get them back and stuff like that. But, because that doesn't really work, I guess. I can't remember. How does Osgood's kind of boyfriend get out of the situation? Because the Doctor gets into the escape pod and he wakes up, and they all see it's the Doctor, and the Doctor reveals that wasn't his ghost and stuff like that. And the end of the episode, they tricked all the ghosts. The ghost disappeared, and then Unit on their way to investigate, and then the end of the episode. But how does the Doctor get his TARDIS back? I've completely forgotten. Comment down below. Yeah, well, that's interesting. How did the Doctor get his TARDIS back, and how did he get that guy back? I gave this video an 8 out of 10. I gave it another 8 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10 overall. So yeah, solid stories so far. Now we're on to the woman who died, the girl who lived. Yeah, so Naff story, the weakest of series 9 apart from Sleep No More, I think. Yeah, let's just get into it. So we have Ashildr and her Viking friend. So the Doctor's just landed, landed in the wrong place. Vikings take Clara and 12, and then they go captured by Vikings, and the Sonics are broken. And it comes an eye patch of a Sonic instead of Sonic glasses to Vikings anyway. And then Ashildr obviously formed Game of Thrones. That was meant to be a big thing, and in the trailers they were going it was Susan and stuff like that, and obviously it wasn't to fans anyway. And yeah, then we move on to Vikings getting killed off, their army, their troops, by these alien Maya creatures, this godlike who wants to pretend he's Odin or Thor or whatever you want to, one of the gods. He's pretending to be one of the gods, and obviously they believe that in them times. And then like 12 says, you know how he's a fake, he's not Odin, he has actually shown up. Your gods never show their faces. That's why he's not a god. Yeah, then we have this little comedic scene where he's trying to train the hopeless people, the people that don't fight. They're not soldiers, they're farmers, or they're chefs or cooks or whatever, you know. And then he trains them to fight, and then the whole village is just blown up. It's quite a funny scene. And then Clara's just explaining, you passed out, blew up the house, and that sheep got blew up. It was just a funny little scene of Clara just explaining things. It was quite fun. Yeah, Clara and Ashildr went up to the alien ship with the Vikings when they'd shown who needs to be the most powerful to get killed off. And then they want the Sonic glasses, basically, and then Clara almost persuades them to go away, and then Ashildr threatens them, and then they bring on a war. And then, as always, 12 says, it's the most dangerous race in the universe, when it's the Daleks? Or was it the last person you said it was the most dangerous, or was that one? Everything's the most dangerous thing in the universe in these days, and yeah, you just gotta take it as a pinch of salt with that. 12 was a nice thing with this. He wanted to just run away. He just thought, well, this isn't really an invasion, this is saving the village, and the village can just run off anyway if the Maya actually let them. And then the Maya come at a certain time, and 12 come up with this idea, and obviously we get a reference from Speaking Baby and the eels electrocuting the Maya, and then they start bashing the Maya up, and then they use this sort of, they can get this Maya's head, they can put it on Ashildr's mind, and then set this image out, hologram, and then record the Maya, because the Maya is all about presentation and stuff like that, and then he can threaten them to get lost, really. Yeah. Then we move on to basically Ashilda dying, and then 12's upset and guilt, and then we get the reference from the 10th Doctor and the the Pompeii episode from series 4. That was quite a nice little reference, and the reason 12's face is because it reminds him to save someone, and it saves Ashilda with the Maya's little chip and puts it in her, and now she's immortal. And she has another chip to immortal anyone she likes, which then in the next episodes, hold on, I'll just give this a ranking out of 10. 7 out of 10. Yeah, it's not the best out of this, and that's why I'm speeding through it. Now we're on to The Woman Who Lived, and this is even worse. This is dire. This is naff. Yeah, so we have Ashilda back. She's pretending to be these robbers. I forgot, the highwaymen. That's it. She's pretending to be a highwayman, and then 12's trying to look for some alien gold or whatever, and they join up, and then they have a little argument, and then they have that little cliffhanger that we all thought was Susan when she said, "Hello, old man, you took your time," or whatever, something like that. And we have Ashilda now called Me, so we're going to call her from Me from now on. I may just call her Ashilda like 12. Don't know how this review will go. Yeah, so I'm going to call her Ashilda. Ashilda, right. So Ashilda is pretending to not be Ashilda, and she can't remember her mind. It's been a long time since Doctor met her last, and her mind's all fuzzy, so she write down her diaries, these libraries of books. She's lived all these lives and stuff like that, and then she could have used that chip to save her daughter. I suppose it stops her, so her daughter would be a baby forever, which wouldn't be the best. But she could have saved her daughter from the Black Death if she wanted to, you know. But instead she saves this other character who's quite a funny, interesting character. I'll probably put a picture on the screen. I've seen him in some shows before. Howard or something like that. Russell Howard. No, I don't know his name. I'm not going to say it. It's not Russell Howard, but, you know, it's someone comedic. I'll put a picture on the screen of who I mean. Yeah, he's in this episode and he gets killed by Ashilda's actions, so she brings him back to life when she could have put it to a family member with that chip. This alien creature doesn't want it, just trying to trick Ashilda to bring his kind to destroy the world. Then simply they reverse it with that chip, and then his plans are messed up, and then they kill him, and that's it. That's the whole episode. That's the whole point in the blooming episode. It's boring, and Ashilda constantly going, "Can I travel with you, Doctor? Can I travel with you, Doctor?" And the Doctor saying, "No, no," again and again and again. It's just a repeated cycle. Then we move on to a little reference from Captain Jack. You'll probably see another immortal, Captain Jack, and that was a nice reference. So he's still there. He's still in the universe. Just bring him back, please. I would have loved 12 to meet Captain Jack, even though there's a reference from Torchwood, and it would be a bit of a disaster with him being Furbisher as well. Anyway, this is a 6 out of 10. This episode, really didn't enjoy it. Really boring. Really the same old thing. Can I travel you, Doctor? And what's have gone like that? And his plans are pointless anyway. And he's after this, golden thing and a highwayman. Just not a good story. Yeah, let's move on to something more interesting. Now we're on to the Zygon Invasion, and I may seem to be going through this quite fastly now. I mean, I did a slow part at the start of the video, but I may just do this in a whole. I may talk about Up to Hellbent if I'm quick. So let's just quickly ram through these episodes, and we may just go on to Series 10 next week. Anyway, let's do it. So Zygon Invasion, we obviously have Clara and her living her life and stuff like that, and then she gets abducted by a Zygon later on in the episode. We learn is Bonnie, and Bonnie the Zygon who's ruler and stuff like that. Basically, it's about the 50th, a little reference previously, and we have the 50th. That was such a lovely thing. It makes you want to watch the 50th. Yeah, it's tied in so well. This is the aftermath. This is the explanation of what happened to Zygons after the 50th. And the big answer, the big mystery. Yeah, we have 12 investigating these Zygon little kids, and he's going around the park, which totally wouldn't work out in real life. I mean, an old dude talking to these two little girls going around in the park. who they don't even know, is very strange and would totally get arrested if it happened in real life. So good one, 12. You know, obviously it's Doctor Who. We don't think like that. Anyway, yeah, let's just carry on. So 12 is investigating the Zygons. Then we have Clara getting turned into a Zygon. We later learn at the very start of the episode and throughout is now Bonnie. And I'm going to call her Bonnie instead of Clara, so we know that it's not Clara. So Bonnie's now come out this, when Clara went into this flat to investigate this little boy who was upset, Bonnie comes out of the flat. And then the Zygons take the kid down the elevator, and then we have later on, like I said at the start of the video, this unit person who's coloured. I'm not being racist, that's it, just explaining. You know, you gotta be a bit nervous when you say about them sort of things, because, you know, you can get called all sorts. But yeah, just explain who this person or I mean. I'll probably put a picture on the screen anyway, so it's a bit more easy to explain. She gets more character development in this episode, but she dies, the scientist person from UNIT. And yeah, she was tricked by Bonnie / Clara, and then they went down this lift and elevator and then investigated. Then they thought, oh, we need to bring more troops and save them, stuff like that. And Clara also gets brought into UNIT yet again. And the Doctor's trying to call Clara, and she has the normal answer phone sort of thing. Then Nokia phones. I had that Nokia phone as well. So yeah, 12 had the same phone as me. What else? Yes, we have Osgood and Osgood. We have 2 Osgoods in that. Oh, actually, one died. We have 2 Osgoods at the end of the episode. We have Patchalera. We learn her, I can't say the name, and the Doctor's meant to be called Basil. Obviously, it's not called Basil, but maybe Osgood's name's a lie as well, when they're lying to each other and asking names and what they're called and all that. Anyway, we have Osgood back. Well, human or Zygon, we will never know. It's just a mysterious thing of fans can choose whether to believe or not. Then we have, what else do we have? Kate Stewart was quite interesting. She's very action and fighty and feisty. So we have a town called Mercy, not Mercy, a town called Truth or Consequences, I think, or something like that, and something in Mexico. We have Kate Stewart going to Mexico and find out all the Zygons that killed people in the town. We have this police officer who is actually a Zygon, tricks her out, and Kate Stewart just shoots her. Kate Stewart's on it, and she's very, so then pretends to, the Zygon's meant to turn into Kate Stewart, when obviously it's actually Kate Stewart who survives and kills the Zygon. And we carry on, and Kate Stewart's pretending to be a Zygon to find the Zygon's plans out. Then we have Clara killed the scientist woman when she brought all the troops, leaving a cliffhanger with all the Zygons, and Clara actually being a Zygon is revealed. We have 12 and Osgood working together, and they apparently get blown up. So Clara's dead, UNIT's down, and 12's about to get blown up with bazooka in a plane. They're in a plane yet again, and yeah, Osgood is investigating this Zygon they've captured, and then the Zygon knows the plan and warns them, and too late, they're blown up. Leaving a cliffhanger with the Doctor and Osgood obviously escaping with these, I don't know what to call them, jetpacks, not jetpacks, but you know what I mean, they escape. And Clara works that out when she's recording in her mind. She's playing the footage back in her mind. She's in the mind palace like Sherlock Holmes, because it's Moffat. You know, little references in there. Bonnie versus Clara. That was quite an interesting thing to see. And Clara's acting incredibly Jenna Coleman's acting in this, or playing Clara and then playing an evil version of Clara with Bonnie as the Zygon, is so interesting, so fun to see her in the role, and you can just see how brilliant her acting incredible is. And I'll probably put a picture of me and Jenna Coleman together in this episode at some point, because I like to just say I met Jenna Coleman. It's nice. Yeah, it's totally not the fittest companion in the whole of Doctor Who. Right, next up. What else do we have here? Oh yes, we have the Zygon, who just wants to be a human. He wants to live out his life, and Bonnie forces him to change, and then he turns and he gets recorded on YouTube and news and all sorts, and then it's a reveal. And Bonnie wants an outbreak. She wants Zygons to be able to be in their normal habitat, not just... that's the whole idea. Bonnie raises an army and forces Zygons to turn into Zygons because she wants them to live in their normal skins. She wants to claim the planet. Obviously, their planet got blown up in the Time War, and the 50th happened, and they all got wiped and stuff like that. Then comes to the conclusion. Bonnie tells Kate Stewart, who she thinks is a Zygon, to go and collect the Doctor. Bonnie's about to kill Clara, and then they get a little competition of testing their blood and stuff like that, putting their hand on the wrist to see if they're lying and trying to get information out. And then about to kill Clara, Clara managed to keep herself alive by saying, "You're going to need me when you come into the Black Archive." Black Archive, oh my god, so many little references, love it. And then we move on to the speech, of course, 12th Doctor's speech, and 12 gets moved to the Black Archive, and so does Osgood and Kate Stewart. It's all come into place now. Clara gets brought in with the PED, with her in the Zygon thing, you know. Yeah. Then we also have Bonnie, and then we have Truthful Consequences. These two boxes, the blue and the red, and because there's didn't you pay attention? The reason it's called the Osgood box is because there's two of them. And yeah, and then we also have Truthful Consequences coming out, Osgood versus Kate Stewart. Kate Stewart reveals she's human, and then it's a battle between UNIT or the Zygons and who will win. Obviously there's nothing in the boxes, they're empty. The Doctor wouldn't put their Zygon gas to kill them out there. And the other plan for the Zygons is to reveal every Zygon in the world, which was not a thing. And then 12 does his massive speech of, when you fire that first shot, no matter what you feel, you know, that right, whether it's right and stuff like that, you know, he just goes off on one, and I love it. I absolutely love that scene. That is the best scene the Doctor has ever done in any incarnation. That war speech is incredible. And when I close my eye, how many people I can hear scream, you know, I'm not getting the referencing right, but, you know, I absolutely love that. I've watched that speech so many times. Probably more than any other scene in Doctor Who. I love it. I think it's so incredible. And then he persuades Kate to back down, so Kate Stewart's back down, and then it takes a while, but Bonnie backs down as well. Then Bonnie calls off her resolution, her retreats, and yeah, then we have them all forgetting, getting wiped, and yeah, the peace treaty is back to normal, and Bonnie is now another Osgood, and we have two Osgoods again, and it all ends there. But before that, we also had this little reference with the Doctor driving a car. That was a fun, interesting scene to see in this episode. We also have London, what a dump, President of the World speech as well, and then UNIT trying to, in this other place where these troops are coming in, and then they're pretending to be the Zygon's mom, the people's moms and stuff like that. That was interesting to see these soldiers knowing it was their Zygons, but they got told to kill the Zygons, and they can't because they're in the form of their moms and loved ones. It was so interesting to see, and then obviously the Zygons kill them off. And the 12th Doctor has to find Osgood was interesting. Yeah, what do I rate this out of 10? 8 out of 10 for the first episode and 9 out of 10 for the second. Overall, a 9 out of 10. Really interesting episode, really enjoyed it. And sadly, we go into something horrible next. Sleep no more.